Hello, welcome to the Los Alamos History Museum. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Los Alamos history as well as what you can see in our museum. So the really cool thing about Los Alamos history is that we divide it into 6 eras. So anytime you are in our museum, you can look for some symbols to help you know which era is being discussed. So we're starting out in this room. This is called the timeline room because we're going to go through those 6 eras. So we start Los Alamos history all the way back with the ancestral Puebloans. And this symbol right here of the little Pueblo house is what you will look for to know that this is the era being discussed. And so our timeline room gives a lot of information that you can read, gives some dates that you can follow along with as well. After the ancestral Puebloans, we're going to move on to the homesteading era. This is our homesteading era, and it began around 1887 when the first land grant was given to the Garcia family. And you can see some pictures of what Los Alamos looked like during this era. Now, the homesteading era overlaps with our 3rd era. And for our 3rd era, you're going to look for this symbol, a horse and a boy. And this is the Los Alamos Ranch School era. This was a super exciting time in Los Alamos history. A man named Ashley Pond created a school just for boys, many who came from the east, and they came all the way to New Mexico to learn how to ride a horse and take care of a horse, to live off of the land. They would go camping and do fun things, but they also went to school and they had classes, and many of them went on to really good colleges and really good jobs. And so that is our Los Alamos Ranch School era. And we have some pictures, and we have a whole nother section of the museum that we'll look at that will tell us more about the Los Alamos Ranch School. Our 4th era is the one that we are most known for. A lot of people come to Los Alamos because they're interested in learning about this 4th era, and then they get the pleasure of learning about the others. But our 4th era is the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project era started in 1943 during World War II, and it is the project that has to do with the making of the atomic bomb. During World War II, we knew that Germany was creating a weapon or working on creating a weapon. This new science had been discovered. And so in America, they also hired scientists to start researching and creating an atomic weapon. And a big portion of that project happened here in Los Alamos at Los Alamos National Laboratory. This era is known for because Robert Oppenheimer came and led the laboratory here, and he hired a bunch of scientists. He brought them here to Los Alamos, but because they were researching and creating a weapon, it was very, very secret. So Los Alamos during this time was known as the Secret City. In fact, today sometimes we refer to Los Alamos as the Hill. And this nickname came about because no one wanted to say Los Alamos when it was a secret city. So all of the scientists came up, as well as many people in the military, in the army, and it was almost like an army base here in Los Alamos, except it was scientists doing a lot of research. Eventually, they were able to create 2 atomic bombs, and those were completed in 1945, and they helped end the war with Japan. And so our 4th era, the Manhattan Project, is one of the most famous ones that people come here to learn more about. All right, our 4th era is the Cold War era. A lot happened during the Manhattan Project here in Los Alamos. A lot of research, a lot of construction was done to complete that research and complete the tests that needed to happen to create the atomic weapon. And after the war, everybody was like, what are we gonna do? We have all these buildings, we have all these people in Los Alamos. What's next for Los Alamos? And what happened was the government decided to keep the laboratory in Los Alamos. And so the Los Alamos National Laboratory, which has undergone a couple of different names, came to permanently be here. We call our next era the Cold War era. And this is an era that affected the entire United States, not just Los Alamos. The Cold War era was a back and forth predominantly between the United States of America and the Soviet Union. And it had to do with nuclear weapons. Both countries had the knowledge and the capabilities of building atomic weapons. But atomic weapons are very, very destructive, and no one wants to see them ever released again. But when different countries from different sides both have this capability, it is important that we continue to research, we continue to have this knowledge just in case. And so that's what the Cold War was. It was a time of research and creation, and Los Alamos was a big part of that. The Cold War lasts a long time, from 1947 until 1991. In 1991, at this point, agreements had been made between countries and to hopefully never have to use an atomic weapon. And so we call that the end of the Cold War. But Los Alamos grew into a town during this time. And here at the museum, not only do we talk about some of the research that happens in Los Alamos during the Cold War, we also show what happened to the town and how it grew. It went from being part of the government, being run by the government, to having its own county, its own town, and everyone owning their homes privately. A lot of changes took place in Los Alamos. A lot of our stores and restaurants were built during this time as the town grew. And during this time, in the late 1950s, we became an open city. We were no longer secret. You did not have to show a pass to get in through the gates. Anybody could come and go into Los Alamos, the town. The lab, however, is across the bridge. So we're gonna just go over here and we're gonna get a picture of the bridge. In the 1950s, this bridge was completed and the laboratory was moved from Ashley Pond, where it originally sat, to the place that now sits on a different mesa. So this bridge, the Omega Bridge, was built at that time, and the lab moved over. Our sixth and final era of history that we cover is the contemporary Los Alamos, and it's represented by that bridge, because that bridge signifies the town of Los Alamos and the laboratory being somewhat separate, the town being its own entity. Contemporary Los Alamos stems from around 2000 to the current day. We make history every day, and so that is something that we continue to collect and to remember and to honor here at the Los Alamos History Museum. So again, we have 6 eras here at the Los Alamos History Museum that we hope you learn about: the Ancestral Pueblo era, the Homesteading era, the Los Alamos Boys Ranch School, the Manhattan Project, the Cold War, and then of course today, contemporary history. One of the coolest rooms in our museum is our special exhibit room. This is a rotating exhibit. It lasts about a year, and then it will be switched out for something new because there's so much Los Alamos history to share. This very cool exhibit right now is currently honoring and telling the story of the enlisted women of Project Y. It's called The Secrets of Shangri-La, Enlisted Women of Project Y. Enlisted women here at Los Alamos came from the Women's Army Corps and the Waves, which were with the Navy. And the enlisted women were a big part of the project here at Los Alamos. Many of them came and lived in a dormitory together. They became very close friends. And Shangri-La was a nickname kind of given to Los Alamos by multiple people, and it's how they refer to it. They even have a song where they use that term to talk about Los Alamos. We have a wonderful collection here at the Los Alamos History Museum that has been donated to us by these women. It includes some of the things that they wore. It includes some of their medals and badges, as well as things they purchased while they lived up here. And so this exhibit tells their story, what it was like to live here. Many of them met and married here. Some of them even stayed in Los Alamos. Even the ones who went away, this time was a special time. It was an intense time to work during World War II, to be a part of the war effort as America sought to help end this war. And so this room tells the story of some of those women who were here in Los Alamos. Welcome to the Los Alamos Ranch School exhibit. In this room, we tell the story of the boys who came to school, of the staff that worked at the school, and we show some of what life must have been like for them. This school was begun by a man named Ashley Pond, and he hired a man named A.J. Connell to run the school. A.J. Connell had been a Boy Scout master in Santa Fe, and he believed that the structure of the Boy Scouts would benefit the school. And so the school was set up in a very similar manner. The boys were divided into patrols, and they wore a uniform similar to the Boy Scouts, the ranch school uniform was, and they also earned badges. And so that was one of the ways that they did school. In the morning, the boys would get up early and they would exercise. That was the very first thing they did. They called it calisthenics, and they did it outside the big house, one of the first buildings built here in Los Alamos. Once the boys had finished exercising, they would get ready for the day. They would have breakfast and then they would go to class. School was in small groups predominantly, and they would have a teacher. They called their teachers masters, and they would learn all the things that we learn today: English, math, science. All of that was part of their curriculum. Many of their teachers had gone to Ivy League schools on the East Coast because parents wanted their kids to have a really good education. They paid for their kids to come here and go to school, and they were from usually wealthy families. So they got a really good education, and they went to class until lunchtime. They would have a big meal at lunch. They would sit together, usually with one of their masters, and they would have conversations about current events and what they might be learning in school. So even lunch wasn't quite free time yet for the boys. But most of the boys loved the afternoon. The afternoon was when the boys were outside, when they rode their horses, when they helped around the grounds, when they went on trails. Many of the trails in Los Alamos today were originally cleared by the boys' school or maintained by the boys at the school. So here in our exhibit, you can see many pictures that tell the story of the boys. You can also look at different artifacts. We have this new exhibit that opens up, and there are more artifacts in here, including one of the sashes that the boys wore and all of the badges that were earned. So you can learn a little bit about what life might have been like for them. We also have a section in this exhibit that tells a little bit about the boys and what became of them. And so you can look through those and you might recognize some organizations such as the Santa Fe Opera, or some companies like Quaker or Colgate that these boys had ties to, either before or after they attended the Boys Ranch School. Welcome to our Manhattan Project exhibit. In this space, we tell the story of the scientists and the military who were here from 1943 to around 1946. It starts with how they ended up here, and we have just some storyboards that tell that story and talk about some of the people. We also have a section that talks about espionage, because as it turned out, we did have spies in Los Alamos, though we did not know it at the time. There's also a section in this exhibit that tells the end result of the Manhattan Project, the weapons that were created. And it talks about the test that had to be done down at the Trinity site, not here in Los Alamos, of the gadget. And this is how the scientists knew that what they had created was going to work. There's also a special place in this exhibit that talks about the dropping of the bombs on Japan. And in this space, we have a place to reflect about this event and what it might have been like for the scientists and those involved in the project to find out what they were working on, because there were people living and working in Los Alamos during the Manhattan Project that did not know what was being created. As I've mentioned, it was a secret city, and the project itself was secret even to some of the people who lived here. So throughout this gallery, you see a little bit of the timeline and some of the story that took place. Over here in the corner, we have a section with pictures of some of those who were on the project, including General Leslie Groves and Dr. Oppenheimer. Dr. Oppenheimer was the head of the laboratory. General Groves was the head of the military, and Oppenheimer also reported to him. They worked together to create this, the atomic bomb. And so you can learn a little bit about them. You will also see some various artifacts. Life continued here on the hill. People got married, people had children. There were actually a lot of children born in Los Alamos. They had to build a hospital. And so you can learn about what it was like to live here, not just what it was like to work here during the Manhattan Project. Some of the lighting in this room is a little bit dimmer because it is a place of reflection to think about the events that took place and about the weapon that was created. This building is special though, like all the buildings on our campus. We refer to this building as the guest cottage. It was built during our ranch school era in the probably around 1918, 1919. And it's had a couple different stories. The first story is that it was the home for the nurse and the infirmary who worked for the boys' ranch school. Later, after Fuller Lodge was built and the nurse's infirmary moved upstairs, this building became the guest house. It became a place for parents and other visitors to the school to stay. It had beautiful furniture inside because these were wealthy families coming to visit their sons. During the Manhattan Project, this building also was the guest house, and it held people as they came to visit. Some of our buildings held permanent residents, but this one held those who came and went during the project. One of its most famous residents during the Manhattan Project was General Leslie Groves. Today, and since 1968, this has been the Los Alamos History Museum.